It's confusing going to the Sunday church because there's just so many doctrines and people relying on their own understanding concerning doctrines. But there's a great quote that I read the other day: when your doctrine is true, there's no room for confusion when questions are asked. And that's the issue that I have with a lot of Christian doctrine. You know, you can easily refute it. Oh, Jesus is the Father. Okay, well, right here it says, here's my beloved Son for whom I'm well pleased. So how did you get he's the Father? You know, oh, it's the Trinity. Okay, where does it say that? And why was the Trinity introduced in 235 AD by a man named Tertullian? Oh, also, why do all the pagans call their gods Trinities and the Hebrews didn't? Like, and that's the thing. If it's easily refuted, then it might not be true. And so it's like when you come to the Hebrew aspect of the faith, you realize that the Messiah is Hebrew and he spoke Hebrew, and these Hebrew words have meaning. Then Christianity in itself just becomes less interesting because it's just, you realize it's not even true. And so, you know, it's interesting getting on these YouTube videos and all these Christians coming with their 20,000 different doctrines. And a lot of them are struggling right now because they don't understand that we're in the last days, an appointed time that is mentioned by the feast. And they would know if they weren't constantly denying the feast of the Bible, but they don't know because they're in doctrine of men. And when you go and tell them, they bite your head off, but they're loving, they love their neighbors. But yeah, so that's why all these issues are happening. It's the last days, you know, it mentions it in the Old Testament, and, you know, if people read the Old Testament, they would know. If people read the extra biblical books instead of listening to some church father, which Jesus said, you've inherited lies from your fathers, he was probably talking about those people that were part of Israel and writing doctrines and all sorts of things. Then you would know a little bit about the end times and how, you know, there's supposed to be a great falling away and people are supposed to be lovers of self, and there's supposed to be judgment coming to the body of Christ. You know, we're not just supposed to be yanked up from the earth in the rapture, which is some kind of Catholic doctrine. And so, you know, it's kind of sad to see because they don't even know their own Messiah. But as he said, his people perish because of lack of knowledge. That's lack of knowledge of God, lack of knowledge of his word. They refuse to study to show themselves approved, and so they don't learn anything. They go to pastors that are leading them astray, which, you know, these pastors are actually going to get judged in these days because they have led the sheep astray for some lentils like Esau. And I was talking with someone this morning concerning that because they don't think anything's going to happen to them because they're a pastor, but, you know, they're going to be under worse judgment for what they're doing. You chose to be over these people and you decided to forsake your calling. So, but yeah, I just think understanding the Hebrew aspect of it makes it more clear, and you can answer more questions. And when you understand how the Hebrew mind thinks, if you can't answer a question, then you go to the Father and ask instead of the nearest person because the Father knows it all. Anyway, be blessed, guys. Bye.